away we go. We're off and away. Here is my Japanese Grand Prix review. Like I said, this is always uncut and actually acted like a live. So if I make a mistake or a fuck up, I apologise. But I'm not AI and I'm not a computer. We'll jump straight into it. Practice was okay. It was good to see the McLarens up there. They are showing promise. And then we get to qualifying. Qualifying was, as you would expect it, Mercedes a touch above the rest. It was good to see Kimi Antonelli on pole. Again, George Russell said he had problems with his setup, which he struggled with, which you can clearly see. So he was in second. And then you had a surprise with Oscar Piastri in third. Like I said, the McLarens are coming. I have warned you here, the McLarens are coming. And then you had Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and Hamilton being off the top thing. Max Verstappen knocked out in Q2. Who would have thought it? The whinging of, sorry, clear throat. The whinging and whining of Max Verstappen. People are saying Max Verstappen can win in a Haas. Well, here you go. He's in an awful car. Where is he? Not saying the guy's not a talented driver, because he is a talented driver. He's one of the best ones out there. But he's got outclassed by his teammate. He's got knocked out in Q2. So for everyone saying that he can win in any car, your proof is in the pudding right here. He can't. So we get to the race. The race, as we started off, yet again, Mercedes need to sort their fucking problems out with the starts, because their starts are awful. Kimi Antonelli, top three races out the four. If you include the sprint race, he is bogged down off the start and lost places. He went all the way back down to 6th place. George Russell went down to 5th. Oscar Piastri, round the outside, straight away into pole position. Next, then you had Charles Leclerc into 2nd, also had a great start, and Lando Norris gets up to 3rd. So the McLarens are almost on par with the Ferraris with their starts. They're getting there. The race unfolds. Kimi Antonelli comes through the field a bit. George Russell comes through the field. He gets up to Oscar Piastri. He cannot pass Piastri. No matter what he tries, he cannot pass. Lando gets overtaken. He falls back. Charles is floating around the 3rd mark. It all seems nice and deary. A few overtakes, but it gets a bit to a stage where no one can pass. Lando pulls the gun, takes the early pit stop. Suddenly, Charles Leclerc takes the pit stop as well to cover off his position. They both went a little bit earlier than the rest. And then, as in sync, Oscar went. He goes back. Kimi Antonelli stays out, and he is now the quickest man on the track. So at this stage, Kimi Antonelli is pulling away from the field. He is gaining on George Russell 3-4 tenths a lap. And now George Russell pits. So you have Antonelli in 1st, Hamilton in 2nd. This is where the drama starts. The safety car comes out. Why does the safety car come out? Because of Ollie Berman. This is what we've been saying. People are saying Formula 1 need to do something because accidents going to happen. Drivers have said this. Lando has come out and said it. Max has come out and said it. People have all come out and said it. Accidents are going to happen. There was a speed difference of 45 kilometres an hour. The braking rate and the speed differential is too much. Accidents were going to happen. Ollie Berman goes round the outside, losing control, smash into the wall. 50 times the force of gravity he hits that wall at. He's limping. He's got serious damage into his ankle. Now, if there was a race next week, he wouldn't be racing. Luckily, there's a 5-week gap. He can rest up. He can get there. But come on, Formula 1. Sort your act together. Someone is seriously going to get injured or bad things are going to happen. So anyway, Antonelli and Hamilton have cheap pit stops. And Antonelli comes out in 1st. Hamilton comes out in 3rd. Hamilton could have got 2nd, but for some reason he was very slow coming out of his pit box. And therefore that cost him 2nd place. So Oscar Piastri gets back to 2nd place. And the race pretty much at the front stays where it is. Antonelli pulls away from the field, won by 13 seconds. That's a lot. So for George's whinging, saying he could have won the race, where's that 13 seconds? He's just a whining little bitch at the end of the day. That's what he's doing. And then you had Charles Leclerc fighting with George Russell and Hamilton fighting with Hamilton fighting with Lando. Every time they're both diving down the inside at the chicane on the final corner, using all their battery, and then getting passed back down the straight. It was a yo-yo effect, and this is the force we're having with the electrical deployment. It's always going to be the same. People are saying it's yo-yo, and it is yo-yo. I'm going to pass you, you're going to pass me. Anyway, it came to it. The lap before the end, Lando Norris dives down the inside of Hamilton and makes it stick. And then it pretty much stays as it is. Gasly was fighting with Max Verstappen virtually the whole race. Max Verstappen could not get past Gasly. No matter what he tried, it just wouldn't work. That Alpine has come a long way. So you have to say well done to Alpine for that one. So that was pretty much it. I'll put the actual top 10 qualification there now on the screen so you can see. My review. Sorry, the dog's barking. Marshall, down please. Marshall. That was the actual qualification. My thoughts on the Grand Prix. It would have got a 6 out of 10, but with that Ollie Berman crash, I've got to bring it down to a 4 because that is not just Ollie Berman's fault. Formula 1 need to sort their act again. Shakeman Shaw has got a lot to answer for. People aren't liking it. Max Verstappen came out after and said he hated it. He hates it and he's thinking about walking away. That is another video because we got a 5-week break, so we get some videos out there. But that is another video. But like I said, 4 out of 10. At least we had some Formula 1 this weekend, and now we've got a 5-week gap. So it's going to be depressing not to watch any F1. Now it's time for the best part, the me versus you challenge. Like I said, me versus you challenge, me versus subscriber. I get everyone involved. The whole point of this channel is for me to get you, the subscribers, involved with this channel. We're a community at the end of the day. I don't want to be just on my own, you know. I did a live yesterday, and I brought someone else on the channel from another YouTube channel. We've got to keep this channel growing, so your support is gratefully needed. Like and subscribe to the video. Don't be shy, give it a try. Sorry, that was too corny, but I'll leave it in. Yeah, so me versus you challenge. Today it was me versus Andy Wharton. Andy, I'm going to bring him up onto the screen now. See him there. And then we're going to go to our normal black screen, yellow screen, or whatever it is. No, I'm not, because why would I do that? Right, anyway, mistakes happen. Like I said, we're live and uncut, so I'm going to make mistakes. So it's going to be me versus you challenge, me versus Andy Wharton. Andy went for Kimi Antonelli for the biggest good surprise. Now, I would like to give Antonelli a biggest good surprise, but I think that he had to put out the bag and win by 30 seconds plus and not have his good... He had a bad start, so I can't really give him that. My biggest good surprise was Oscar Piastri. I mean, that's definitely a tick for me because Oscar Piastri out-qualified Lando Norris, puts it on second, no one's expecting that, and he didn't even start the last 2 races. So that's one for me. Pole position, I went for George Russell. That's a big no-no. Andy went for Norris. That's a big no-no. Top threes, I went for George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, and Lewis Hamilton. So I got nothing for them. Andy went for Antonelli for the win, so he gets a point there. Norris and Hamilton. So yeah, one for Andy there. Random prediction. I went for Fernando Alonso to finish in the top 10. I definitely was smoking something that night. I don't smoke, by the way. Now don't do it. Don't touch it. He went for Verstappen DNF. That didn't happen either. My biggest good surprise, like we said, was Oscar Piastri, so I got a point for that. He went for Cadillac. He got a point, and he didn't get a point for that. So if we total it all up, I beat Andy 2-1. So that's our first win for me. Woohoo, we're off the board. We're 1-1 now in the scores. We're getting somewhere. Now it's time for the Fantasy League. F1 Fantasy League, still hotting up. Last time we looked, I was in 8th place. Ryan Bennett was leading the way. Scores have been updated, so I'm going to leave them up on the scores right there on the left-hand side. Yeah, so there's the scores. As you can see, I've jumped all the way up to 2nd place. I'm making my marks. Yes, I did use one of my chips. But yeah, I've moved up to 2nd place. Ryan Bennett still leads the way. We've got 2 newcomers. Kezabal, welcome to the Fantasy League. Also, Jake, welcome to the Fantasy League. The Fantasy League is always open for anyone to join. And remember, I will leave the link down at the bottom for you to join. And that's it. That's my review for Japan. I hope you liked it. I hope you give me a like, a subscribe, and stay tuned for more. My next video will be coming out sometime at the end of the week, or maybe on the Monday, where we would do my scores so far for the season. So I'll give everyone a score out of 10 and where I think they are. So remember, if you're not first, you're last.